Yo, what's up, guys? The market is looking good today. Happy Saturday. Capos followers are getting wrecked again. And subscribe to the channel, I would say, because I'm gonna take a look at crypto right now, at Bitcoin, at altcoins, to see what we can expect for the coming, at least this year, but in the shorter term as well, right? So smack that like button if you haven't already and turn on the bell notification so you won't miss out on anything. Bitcoin, it is looking quite fantastic. I'm seeing three things on this chart which are super bullish, really super bullish. I know, not kidding, right? At least two things. And one thing that could maybe be a sign that the bear market is going to end, but I don't want to, call that too soon or anything. But you have to remember, I'm on the weekly chart right here. Okay, so anything that I say right now, we have to close the week at least at these levels as well. Like if this week turns out before Sunday we come down here again, for example, then it's just a wick, it's a fake out, and then a lot is invalid. So don't ever rush into anything just because you see one or two big ass green candles, although these are some really impressive green candles right here. So we have Bitcoin, we have altcoins. Who are the winners right now? Because everybody talking about altcoins that pop. Bro, altcoins are not doing good. Okay, let me show you. Let's start with Bitcoin and then let me talk about altcoins because, that's the juicy stuff. Of course, we all like them juicy altcoins to pop and to make us rich. But, it's not a bull market yet, right? So that's not going to happen, although you could be very lucky on a specific altcoin, of course. But look at this Bitcoin chart. And I can already tell you something very bullish about this. Number one. We had a high in November. We had a lower high in April. We had another lower high in August. We had another lower high in November. And now for the first time ever, Bitcoin made a higher high, right? It's obviously higher than right here. So the first higher time frame high is in. That's super bullish. But like I said, we have to close at least above the week. We have to close it, well, let's say above $21,000. Otherwise, it's just a wick, it's just a fake out. Then we cannot really count it as a higher high. All right, so, but it's Saturday. We have one more day to go. On the other hand, the market is pretty volatile. Anything could happen in the coming day, of course. So don't be too happy too soon, but it's looking really good. So that's the first, pretty bullish thing that I see right here. The second bullish thing that I see is we talked a lot about this bull market support band, the red and the green line. The bull market support band is exactly what it's called. It's the support in the bull market. And in a bear market, it is, a bear market resistance band, you can call it. As you can see right here, in this bull market, for example, in 2016-17, you see we hold this line perfectly, and this is dragging crypto up, right? Therefore, it's a bull market support band. This is the band that pushes Bitcoin higher. We could have these little wicks under it, but it's like not really that, we had such a wick right here, for example. But overall, if we hold that line, we are in a bull market, basically. Once we are in a bear market, you'll see that we go below that line. And that line is then resistance, right? And it pushes the price down quite hard. Now, we are below this line, since the bear market started, basically, which started, right here. It kind of depends on when you want to define it as a bear market. But you see, it was resistance. And we have these wicks. But still, we got slapped under it, resistance. We came close, but rejected. And here we came close, rejected. Now we are far above it. So yeah, it still could be a fake out, but it will be a big ass fake out if that's the case, right? We are already, well, around 16% above the line, and that's really bullish. We closed 1 week above it. Now we are in the second week. The more weeks we close above it, the more it's getting confirmed that it's not a fake out, of course, right? So looking very good in my opinion. This third thing, and that's the most important thing on this whole chart right here, but it's still like we getting there, but we are not really there yet. And that's this line right here. This is the line. This is the last line we can basically draw for Bitcoin before we can say like, okay, maybe now the bear market is done, right? Because we got all these resistances. We got these horizontals right here. This was a big resistance at $18,000, $19,000. We broke that. We even broke this of 21,000 right now. But this diagonal legacy line right here that goes all the way back since the top in November is now getting tested again. As you can see right here, this is where it started. We got a perfect rejection right here. The week after that, we tried again, but got rejected again, went all the way down. And now we are testing this line. And, you know, it maybe kind of depends on how precisely you draw it, but you could say that we now are in the middle of breaking this. What would be really bullish is if we close this week a little above it, like here, for example, then we go down, retest it, and then we go up again. If that happens, that's a big confirmation for me that, well, the bear market, as we know it, is over, right? And I'm not saying that if the bear market is over, the bull market starts. That's not necessarily the case, right? Because here, back in the last bear market, for example, you can also say like here, you know, let's say we are here right now. I don't know if we are necessarily here, but for comparison, right? You can definitely say that the bear market stopped right here. But can you say that the bull market really started right here? I don't know. Like, although we surged quite high, we range, right? This was an accumulation phase as well. You know, we had a better accumulation phase right here, but I can definitely say that the bull market started in May 2020, give or take, right? After the Bitcoin halving, basically. That's where we started to pump really, really, really hard, right? So I'm not saying that the bull market will start, but it's a damn good sign. But who's winning the race? Because a lot of people are, you know, we are all degens, right? And everybody is having their eyes on altcoins because, you know, altcoins, lower market cap, less liquidity, way more volatile, of course. So there are a lot more profits to be made and losses, right? So, but everybody talking about altcoins. Like I said, if you are subscribed to this channel and you watch multiple videos of mine, you hear me say a lot like, okay, I'm going into Bitcoin. I sold a lot of my altcoins. And later, I will buy altcoins with my Bitcoin. Now, I got some comments of people that said like, oh, but altcoins are running right now. But not in the way that I kind of said it, right? Because it's about the altcoin-Bitcoin pair. I will come back to that. But that's really, really, really interesting because altcoins are still making lower lows, believe it or not. I will talk about that. But first, who is winning the race right here? Well, you can definitely see this, right? Okay, so if we remove this line of Bitcoin, what did Bitcoin do? Bitcoin, since it's high in August, we can draw this line right here, right? So you see that we got rejected right here, and we broke out in January, and we broke out hard. Since the breakout, we broke out 23%, give or take, right? If we now, look at the total market cap, right? So that's Bitcoin and everything else. We also broke out, but we broke out 10%. That means the rest of the market is holding it back a little bit because if it's up to Bitcoin, we go to 23% up, right? If we look at the total too, which is everything except Bitcoin, you see that we are kind of just breaking out right now. So, you know, if it's not for Bitcoin, we are doing like meh. And then, because it's a fact that Ethereum is doing quite well. Ethereum just broke out after Bitcoin did as well, right? So if we now look at the total 3, you will see this. The total 3 didn't had its breakout yet, right? And I say yet because it's debatable. Might it still come? Is it the fact that it's just a Bitcoin run and that altcoins will follow way, way, way later? That's what we maybe can take a look at if we can make something out of that. But it's a fact that Bitcoin is leading the run. If it's not up to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is doing super great, then it's up to Ethereum. Ethereum is doing pretty fine. And if it's not up to that, it's about altcoins. And they are, you know, of course, like altcoins in their dollar value, they also go up, but they get outperformed by Bitcoin big time. And we can verify that by what I said, like, dude or girl, look at the Bitcoin dominance, right? You can better look, and oh my God, it also broke out. So I said, like, my strategy is buying Bitcoin, and later when the Bitcoin dominance is higher, buy altcoins back with my Bitcoin, right? You can see it right here. A lot of people, this is the Bitcoin dominance, is going up, 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 big time. So people are shifting their money from altcoins into Bitcoin, right? So the altcoins, of course, they do okay, and some really pop in the dollar value, definitely. But if you look at the altcoins Bitcoin value, altcoins still go down, right? So if you would have bought Bitcoin, you can better buy altcoins with your Bitcoin right now, because you already have profits on your Bitcoin, and then buy the lows, or at least near the lows, on their Bitcoin pair, these altcoins, right? So it's quite interesting. But I've drawn this line a day or three ago, I don't know, and this also broke out. So this is really showing, like, okay, a lot of money is now shifting into Bitcoin. And yeah, you know, then we can draw all these horizontals right here, because you see that it is sitting at some resistance. We had some shit going on here. We had some going on here. We had something going on here. We had, you know, resistance here. Could it be that this is resistance? Yeah, maybe. We'll have to see. I cannot predict that, what it's going to do in the shorter term. But it is looking quite bullish to me, honestly, because we broke out of this wedge since September. That's a long time already. That's like 3-4 months. And with such a breakout, usually we pump quite a bit. So I'm curious to see, like, if we break this yellow horizontal as well and we go retest it, yeah, then the Bitcoin dominance really might go up. And then it's the question, like, okay, if the Bitcoin dominance goes up further, what are altcoins going to do depends very much on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin keeps going up in price, then altcoins might keep going how they are going right now. Like, you know, these 10, 20, 30% a day. And that's very good, of course. But if this goes up while Bitcoin is going down, correcting, then you will see that altcoins on their dollar pair also start to crash. And the higher the Bitcoin dominance goes, the harder the altcoins could crash, right? So be a little careful with that. Now, let's take a look, because I said this in a couple of videos ago, and it's so far playing out pretty decent, that somehow this chart, no one was really talking about it, but this is the USDT dominance, so not the Bitcoin dominance, but how much money is sitting in USDT. And you'll see that if you just zoom out, then you'll see that people were prepping their money in USDT like never before, right? It's sitting at highs. But since November, basically, also where the bear market started, it was in this clear, like, this was the most simple line to draw, right? It was in this clear uptrend where we got support, we got support, we got support, we got broken down, right? And now that we broke down, the trend has completely changed. We also broke down out of this first support at 7%. Now I can see the next support sitting at 6.4%. Where we sit right now is not really any support. So I wouldn't be surprised that if this goes down even further, that Bitcoin still has some fuel to run, right? If we break this, however, this line, then yeah, of course, you could argue that this is the last support right here at 5.8%, give or take, but it's not that big. If we fall all the way down to 4%, like this little, well, this wick to the downside right here brought Bitcoin from, this was the 2nd of January, and that brought Bitcoin from 16.5K to 22.5K, right? So that's 37%, right? While we could see a way bigger move still, because this was a move of minus 23%, right? What do we still have to go if, you know, this happens? 27%, right? So if that happens, Is it unthinkable that Bitcoin from here pumps another 40% or so? Definitely not. And that sounds very bullish. That would take Bitcoin at around 30K. That's definitely possible to happen, right? And yeah, then it depends, like I said, on what the Bitcoin dominance does. I won't be surprised if we get such a run again in the Bitcoin dominance. Where we saw, like, in 2021, we saw that going up all the way. Later in 2021, we saw it happen again. And in June, we saw it, well, from January last year till June, we saw it again. But what's the fun thing about that? Well, if we get here, then I'm offloading my Bitcoin and I'm going heavy into altcoins. Because what did we also see in June? From June to, you know, August, September this year, give or take, there we really saw a altcoin relief rally. We are now basically seeing a Bitcoin relief rally, and altcoins are just, you know, going with the flow. But like, this is the opposite of altcoin season. We are now in Bitcoin season, basically, right? So once this happens and you are prepared, right? Because you now have Bitcoin, you can buy altcoins with your Bitcoin. And then when such a move happens again, then you can really see some massive gains on your altcoins. Therefore, I've drawn, like, if we are here, put your altcoins into Bitcoin. It's more a note to myself. And when we're here, set your Bitcoin to altcoins, right? That's my strategy. We are now in the middle. So what's the strategy for now? Yeah, bro, I like, wait. It depends on how you are prepared, right? If you only have cash right now, I would say be a little careful. I wouldn't ape into this pump right now. I mean, it's a really hard pump that we are seeing right now, right? So, God fucking. If you are in cash right now, would you buy such big of a green candle? Yeah, I will be a little careful with that, because since the bottom, Bitcoin is already almost up 50%. Are you going to buy there? Yeah, if you are in for the long run, then 22K is still near the bottom, basically, right? But, you know, if you are in for the slightly shorter term gains as well, I will be a little patient, because I won't be surprised, you know, if we get a pullback at any moment. And the pullback could definitely happen. Look, the bear market resistance band, or the bull market support band, whatever, I won't be surprised if we go back around that area. And then we also have to take a look, okay, like, where are the horizontals sitting? Well, where I have my cursor right now, which is around 19,300, maybe 600, in that area. 19.5. If we get a pullback and we go to 19.5 and we bounce there, yeah, that's a really bullish sign to me. And don't get scared if we get that pullback, because it's very weird if you go up and you go up and you go up. Like, what's wrong, right? We have to get a pullback at some point. So that will be only normal. People taking the profits. The market is getting a little overheated. You know, that's just what happens, basically. So, but overall, the market is looking really good. And if we have to take a look at some altcoins, just if you guys like that, let's go over a few just to see how these altcoins are looking. Like I said, altcoins on their Bitcoin pair, so this is Cardano Bitcoin, for example, people might feel like, oh yeah, altcoins are doing great. I don't know, but Cardano is reaching its cycle lows again, basically, right? We are not far from that. It's like we have like 9% to go and we are at the low, right? So, and a lot of altcoins look like that. Therefore, I said, like, man, better prep Bitcoin, right? Because you can now buy like Cardano, you can buy it at its lows, right? If you if you look at the dollar value, yeah, it is definitely sitting 50% up from the bottom. So if you were only in dollars, you can still buy it, but you miss out on this 50% already, basically. But if you look at the dollar value for Cardano, for example, it's sitting at its resistance perfectly, basically. Right, so I would not throw a single cent into Cardano myself right now, but that's totally up to you what you want to do, of course. Atom, if we take a look at Atom, I didn't draw perfectly, but you know, give or take, it's also sitting at the resistance. So, and it lines up, right? Like I showed you on the total 2 and the total 3, which are also, like the total 2 is sitting at resistance, give or take, and the total 3 is not even there yet. So, you know, could it be that a lot of altcoins are, you know, going to break out right now, or that they are going to get rejected right now? A logical path would be that they get rejected, because that's what they've been doing since more than a year. Why would this time be different, right? If you are willing to bet your money on the fact that they are going to break out, wait for the breakout and the retest. That way you know you're safe. Otherwise, you're now buying a local top and you only have a lot of way down to go, and that's a shame, right? Oh, I said Atom, by the way. This is Arweave. Sorry, it's early in here. If we do look at Atom, slightly different pattern right here. Broke its bull market support band as well, but still in this triangle right here. I would wait to see how this plays out. You know, this what it does, right? So could it go down here and then, you know, you could probably get a better deal on that. AVAX, let me take a look at AVAX, how that's looking, because AVAX was really doing great as well. If we look at how that was going, yeah, also clean breakout, waiting for the retest. AVAX could definitely do very good. Phantom is also stepping out of its range, depending on where you draw the range, because I didn't draw it very good. It's more like I don't know. It's basically still ranging, but it's at the top end of the range. Moonbeam. Let me take a look at Moonbeam. What's Moonbeam doing? For the people interested in Moonbeam. Moonbeam broke out of its range since August. So looking very bullish, going to have some struggles with the bull market support band. So I'm very curious to see what's going to happen. Is it going to break the bull market support band, or is it going to get slapped back down into this range right here? We have to take a look. I don't know. But it's looking better than it did before. Definitely. Joe, don't know how many people interested in that link. Chainlink. Still ranging, basically, but Chainlink is in a big range between 9.5 and 5.5, basically, and it's now sitting kind of in the middle. So, you know, if you have Chainlink, I would not sell it. If you want Chainlink, I would not buy it. I will be a little patient on that. Matic. Let me take a look. Matic is just super strong. The entire bear market is really incredible how good it's performing. Broke out of its range right here, basically, but it happened a lot, right? It happened in a wick right here. It closed 2 weeks above right here. We had some wicks to the downside, 2 wicks to the upside again. So it's not necessarily saying anything, but it's better to see it right here than right here. Unless you want to buy some. I would not buy Matic right now. Be a little patient. Because, guys, like, of course, I said I would not buy last week as well. I'm going to be completely honest about that. And that was here, right? Yes, you would have missed out on this. But it's purely about chances and statistics, right? Because in the middle of such a pump, it's only understandable to expect a pullback, right? If you want to bet your money on top of a big green candle, be my guest, I would not do it. Let me put it like that. But this is not any, you know, financial advice or whatever the fuck. Quant, looking bullish, but also looking like it's going to test some resistance, to be completely honest, because the resistance is sitting at around, you know, $150, give or take. We had support here. Yeah, we had support here. We had a little support here. We had resistance here. We had some support going on right here. And now it's looking like it's, you know, at that resistance. Quant Bitcoin is looking a little weak to me, to be honest, because it's struggling with this, you know, bull market support band as well, and it just cannot break through, and it looks like it wants to get slapped back down. And compared to the current Bitcoin dominance that's going up, it looks like Quant is going to be a perfect victim of that. And I think Quant has really a way of like 20-30% down to go, to be completely honest. Let's talk about, before I wrap it up, because it's taking too long now, my favorite, CDFI. CDFI is Ignore these yellow lines. It's like only a mess in the chart, to be completely honest. Let me remove them, except this big line. If you look at these white lines, this is the range that it's been in. It's been in its falling wedge, and it's now at the top of this wedge. Also, I would not buy Seedify, although it's my favorite project, but I would not buy it right now myself, because it's been here once, it's been here twice, it's now the third time basically, and so far it's only getting rejected. I want to wait for the breakout right here, but this wick right here shows me that there is some strength into it. But if it continues to do what it's been doing since, like, well, last half year, give or take, then it's likely to go down to the lower side of this wedge, which is around 60-70 cents. So the structure has to change, or Seedify is screwed, to be completely honest. So I would definitely not sell right now. You know, just if you look at the bigger picture, it's just stupid to sell, especially if you turn it off lock. Just for some perspective, are you going to sell here? If you believe in the project, will be a little stupid, of course. But I also, to get the best entry, would not necessarily buy right here. We have Gala, which is holding up pretty good, better than I suspected, to be completely honest. Although it's still in the territory where I feel like, yeah, if I don't have any Gala no more though, and if I would still have it, I would sell it here still, because this is just a very strong resistance point. And of course it could, maybe it stays here for a couple of weeks, definitely, but I don't see Gala run. If it does break out, then we can expect a 8 cents Gala or so, and that's also possible. It so much depends on if the total tree is going to break out and what Bitcoin is going to do in the coming days though. So I would wait a little bit with that. And then we have Nakamoto Games, for example, which is, yeah, this is staring, man. This is running. And this is a bullish chart to me. This is a really bullish chart to me. Nakamoto Games also, if you zoom in a little bit, you could maybe say that we have a very beautiful cup and handle. Well, not beautiful, but you could maybe argue like, okay, we have the cup right here, we have the handle, and that's the breakout, right? It's not beautiful, but it's there, right? So, and on the weekly, it's maybe even better to see the cup and the handle, yeah. But if I look on the weekly, to be honest, for Nakamoto Games, I would not be surprised to see this go all the way to 35 cents, to do another 2x from here, because it had a beautiful breakout. It's above its bear market support band, and there is not really a lot of resistance right here, right? Like, there is nothing. The first one is here, 35 cents, give or take. IMX had a very clean breakout, by the way, and that was VRA had a very clean breakout. I've drawn this line and sent it into a group with some Dutch people when it was here, and I said, oh man, this is going to break out, and it did absolutely perfect. It found resistance at the point where you kind of expect to get some resistance. So, yeah, is it possible that this one goes back to around 4.3 cents, give or take, maybe 5 if we are lucky? Definitely. I do not hold this coin, by the way, but I do love to see this kind of stuff going on, right? So I want to wrap it up for today. That's enough talk about altcoins and all that. Be a little careful in the market, but also enjoy your gains. Take your profits, otherwise in a week or so you don't have anything, like then it was all for nothing. So take your profits. You don't have to sell everything, of course, right? Sell a couple percent maybe, that if we do get the pullback, you at least, you know, have something left out of this this rally right here. Guys, that's it for now. I wish you a very nice weekend. Tomorrow I will be back with a video about myself, about who am I, what's my story, what's my experience, you know, maybe it's nice to see. So I'll see you guys then. Have a lovely day.